everyone, Zach from the barbellphysio.com and performanceplusprogramming.com. And if you need to improve your ankle mobility for better jumping, change of direction, squats, and other functional movements like that, then I've got you covered in this video where I'm going to share my 4 favorite ankle mobility exercises. So we're going to start with the toughest ankle mobility exercise first. This is going to be the roughest one by far, and I promise you this is going to be the one that you like the least out of every one that we do. So I'm going to sit on a box or a bench here, and I've got a barbell on my legs, and then I've got my toes elevated on a slant board. This can also be a stack of bumper plates, but I'm simply going to get a heavy weight on my legs, and I'm going to let that weight creep my ankles and really help to stretch out ankle mobility in that Achilles on the backside. This is one of those movements that you want to go heavy with if you really need it. I have a lot of athletes that end up putting 225 pounds on the barbell for this exercise. If you're somebody that maybe played basketball or was like a high jumper for a long period of time, or maybe you were a toe walker as a kid, a lot of times those individuals just have really stiff Achilles tendons, and it needs a lot of load and time under tension to help push the needle forward there. And this is a gnarly one. It does not feel good. Even at 95 pounds, that's very uncomfortable on my leg, but there is nothing better for those incredibly stiff ankles than just doing some hardcore weighted ankle dorsiflexion mobilizations. Exercise number 2 are going to be Achilles eccentrics. So eccentric contractions, meaning slowly lowering into the stretch position, are a great way to improve mobility in almost any area of the body, and I really love those for the ankles. So the way we're gonna do this is I'm gonna come up on 2 feet, and then I'm gonna lift one leg up. My knee's gonna stay straight as I slowly lower down, like 3 seconds down. When I get to that bottom position, I'm gonna pause for a split second in the stretch, and then I'm gonna push my knee forward while trying to keep my ankle as open up in the bottom as I can. Then I'm gonna go up again on 2, down on 1, nice and slow, get that in-range pause, then bend your knee. All right, so let's talk about why we're doing this one. So first of all, in the ankle, we have 2 calf muscles. We have our gastroc, the kind of larger, more superficial muscle that crosses the knee. So doing that slow lower with the knee straight really biases the gastroc. Then when we bend the knee, we bias the soleus, a little bit of a deeper muscle in the calf complex that typically limits people's mobility a little bit more in movements such as the squat. So we're gonna hit both of those with that movement. I want you to go hard and heavy with this. So if doing sets of 10 to 12 with that slow tempo is tough with just your body weight, great. If it's not tough with just your body weight, then you need to grab a dumbbell, grab a kettlebell, put a barbell across your back, add a little bit of external load to get a little bit more out of that stretch. Exercise 3 is gonna get a little bit more after the ankle joint itself. So I'm gonna get a resistance band placed really low on my squat rack, and then I'm gonna use my VersaStack box here that's about 6 inches off the ground, or you could use some bumper plates or a step, and I'm gonna get my foot up on that step, and then I'm gonna move that resistance band until it's below these 2 little bumps on the side of my ankle. Those are called your medial and lateral malleoli, the name of those bumpy parts. Get that band below it, and then we're gonna simply work on driving our knee as far in front of our toes as we possibly can, while that band provides a little bit of a glide to the ankle joint itself. I prefer to have it with this setup here where that band is sitting a little bit lower than my ankle. It just makes the directional pull on that band a little bit more effective. You can also come in here and add a little extra step and move your foot out to put a little bit more tension on it, but that is a great exercise to get after the joint specific mobility compared to the other 2 that bias a little bit more of the musculature around the ankle. Then our final piece of ankle mobility is that we have to appreciate that in movements like the squat, it's not just our knees going forward as we descend down, but what's also happening is our knees kind of drive out a little bit. So we need a little bit of lateral ankle mobility and lateral foot mobility as well. And I so commonly see this overlooked. And when this lateral stuff is a little bit stiff, I often find that individuals have a hard time improving their dorsiflexion. So address this first if you notice difficulty with that lateral ankle mobility. So here is both our test and our treatment. They're called squats with an external rotation liftoff. So what I'm gonna do is get a squat stance here with my toes perfectly forward. Now I don't believe that everybody should squat with their toes pointed forward, but for the purpose of this drill, we're gonna keep toes forward. I'm gonna reach down and I'm gonna kind of pin the base of my big toes, right where my big toe bends up. I'm gonna push that down on the ground and keep that flat and then drop down into a squat. So now my knees are just outside of my elbows, big toes pinned to the ground, and I'm gonna simply lift my leg off on either side. And what a lot of you will notice when you have one side that's a little stiffer than the other is you'll notice that the stiffer ankle in terms of its dorsiflexion doesn't have as much of that lateral motion. And so that's your test. It also becomes your treatment. I love this as a warm-up. So I'm dropping down, and this isn't just like a simple lift off. I'm lifting and driving into my ankle stiffness. And I'm trying to push out as hard as I can without letting my foot roll up. That's what this hand's here for. And I'm gonna do that side to side. And what you'll notice is that if you hit that for 20 or 30 seconds, your glutes are gonna burn. You're gonna start to feel fatigue. big, so that makes it a great warm-up exercise that also works on that lateral ankle mobility. So there you have my 4 favorite exercises for improving your ankle mobility. If you want a proven program that's helped thousands of athletes improve their ankle mobility that translates to better movements such as their squats, overhead squats, pistol squats, etc., then head to performanceplusprogramming.com and check out our ankle mobility overhaul program.